After that last video about reincarnation and past life trauma, I'm really called to talk about birth visions and the role that plays in this unfolding journey we're all having. So the 10th insight, which is the second book after the Celestine prophecy, talks about a lot of things. It's like there's 9 insights in the Celestine prophecy, and this 10th insight feels like 9 more insights all within itself. But one it talks about is birth visions, and essentially that when we die, we have a life review, which is probably another insight all of itself. We have a life review and we see, what we did and the impact we had on others. But what we're really comparing it to is the birth vision that we had when we incarnated. So essentially what happens is we select our parents because of who they are and the things we can learn from them. We have a birth vision of what would happen in a totally ideal scenario where we totally follow our guidance and everyone else we interact with follows their guidance, right? Every message gets passed between people. We learn everything we need to learn, which obviously never happens, right? Like being a human is really hard and we get off track and, all kinds of stuff happens and we're doing the best we can. So we're looking at that vision when we have our life review. Like, here's what I intended to do. Here's what actually happened. And then you sit with that for a while, and I guess you reincarnate sometime later. Maybe spend some time in the other dimension, the afterlife, in your soul group, helping someone that's a human, right? And at some point, you're like, okay, it's time to go back in and give it another shot. Try to do what I can to bring in the world vision, which is this kind of utopia, if you will. I guess that word is hard to say because it has negative connotations within the paradigm, but you get the idea. A place based in peace and love and acceptance, where we're working together because we're all one, right? So you have this birth vision, and what happens in life, what these intuitive guidances are that we get, is hints that we are tracking towards our birth vision, right? We're essentially remembering it, and that's one of the goals of life as you awaken, is to remember your birth vision. Remember what you set out to do, and then do it. So for me, it seems to be I am a way shower, if you will, someone that is kind of on the leading edge, not in a better than way, but just that's my role, to be there on the edge of this, on the front edge of this, and experiencing it myself and understanding it, and then synthesizing that information and articulating it to other people so that they kind of know what's going on as they move through these same experiences. And what will happen, and what has happened for me, is that either you'll have the experience and then get the information soon after to explain what happened, or sometimes you get the information and then you have the experience because you needed to know it beforehand. And that will happen as I give out this information. That will happen for other people too. They'll either get it before or after, exactly when they need it, to fit into their life process, right? And their increased understanding of what we're here and what we're doing. So that's the deal with birth visions, and maybe that's enough about it. Yeah. The other thing I would say is that I said previously that your intuitive guidance is leading you to be the thing you always were meant to be. Well, yeah, because it's your birth vision, right? That's the thing it's leading you back into, which is your totally natural state. It's the thing that you always intended to do in this life, right? It was your intention. And the deal with being a human is that you forget, right? And not everybody always forgets. There's some kids that kind of remember their past lives. Jesus apparently remembered his entire birth vision. And what it was to come here and be an example of how you can do this, how you can come and remember and essentially ascend, how you can go through the whole process in one life if you can remember. If you can remember and have the will to stick to that, because it's not easy. Nothing easy about this. We're all just doing our best. So yeah, you will begin to remember your birth vision as you move through this process, you remember your past lives, and then it'll all just start making sense. So it's a journey.